They called him a shooting star, a burning comet across the dark skies of a dying age. He was a prophet, a warrior, a diplomat, a man who dared to dream of a unified nation, strong enough to stand against the encroaching tide. This is the story of Tecumseh, the Shawnee chief whose vision burned brighter than any council fire, and whose struggle echoed across the vast wilderness, a plea for freedom that still whispers on the wind. Born in 1768, in the heart of what is now Ohio, Tecumseh came into a world already reeling. His people, the Shawnee, were masters of the forest, their lives interwoven with the rhythm of the seasons, the wisdom of their elders, and the sacred bond with the land. They were a sovereign nation, proud and independent, their traditions forged over countless generations. They hunted the buffalo, fished the rivers, and cultivated their fields, living in harmony with the natural world, guided by the Great Spirit. Their warriors were swift and silent, their hunting grounds vast and bountiful. Every tree, every river, every star held meaning, a living tapestry of their existence. What made Tecumseh unique was not just his warrior spirit, though he was unmatched in battle. It was his extraordinary vision, born from a deep understanding of his people's plight and a prophetic insight into the future. He saw the piecemeal surrender of ancestral lands, the relentless westward expansion, and the slow strangulation of his people's way of life. While other chiefs negotiated individual treaties, Tecumseh understood the true nature of the threat. He saw that the land was not something to be sold or bartered, but a sacred trust, held in common by all tribes, given by the Great Spirit. He believed that no single tribe had the right to cede what belonged to all. This was his revolutionary idea, a pan-Indian confederacy, a grand alliance of all native nations, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf, united against a common foe. The conflict began long before Tecumseh's birth, a slow, insidious encroachment. But with the relentless push of American settlers after the Revolution, the trickle became a torrent. Treaties were signed, often under duress or through deception, carving away more and more territory. The Shawnee, like many tribes, were pushed to their limits, their hunting grounds shrinking, their way of life under siege. Tecumseh watched his people suffer, witnessed the broken promises, the deceitful smiles of those who sought to dispossess them. He saw the future, a bleak landscape where his people would be stripped of their heritage, their dignity, and their very existence. And so, the seeds of resistance were sown, not in anger alone, but in a profound sense of justice and self-preservation. From the late 1790s, Tecumseh embarked on an epic journey, a relentless odyssey across the vast North American continent. He traveled tirelessly, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast, from the Mississippi River to the Appalachian Mountains. He spoke with the Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Creek, the Ojibwe, the Delaware, countless nations, each with their own traditions, their own grievances. His words were a fire, igniting hope, stirring ancient pride. He urged them to cast aside their differences, to remember their shared ancestry, their common destiny. He preached unity, not just for survival, but for the very soul of their people. He spoke of the sacred trust of the land, of the commonality of all indigenous peoples. His charisma was legendary, his arguments irrefutable. He spoke not just as a warrior, but as a prophet, his brother Tenskwatawa, the prophet, lending spiritual authority to his political vision. Councils were held, wampum belts exchanged, and a fragile but potent alliance began to form, a flicker of hope in the encroaching darkness. The flashpoint came at Tippecanoe, in 1811. While Tecumseh was away, attempting to bring the southern tribes into his confederacy, General William Henry Harrison, the governor of the Indiana Territory, marched on Prophetstown, the spiritual and political center of the nascent confederacy. Against Tecumseh's express orders to avoid conflict, Tenskwatawa, fueled by desperation and a misguided belief in his own spiritual power, attacked Harrison's forces. The battle was devastating. Prophetstown was burned, the Confederacy's momentum shattered, and many of Tecumseh's most ardent followers were disillusioned. It was a crushing blow, a betrayal of trust, a testament to the fragile nature of hope in the face of overwhelming power. Yet, Tecumseh refused to surrender his dream. With the outbreak of the War of 1812, he allied with the British, seeing them as a lesser evil, a means to an end in his relentless struggle against American expansion. He led his warriors with unparalleled courage and tactical brilliance, fighting alongside British forces, earning their respect and admiration. He was a formidable foe, his very presence inspiring his men to unimaginable acts of bravery. He fought at Fort Meigs, at the Battle of the Thames. He continued to advocate for his vision of an independent native nation, pushing the British to guarantee the land rights of his people in any peace settlement. He refused to yield, his spirit unyielding even as the tide of war turned against them. The end came swiftly, brutally, at the Battle of the Thames in October 1813. Outnumbered, outgunned, Tecumseh fought with the ferocity of a cornered lion. He led his warriors from the front, his war cry echoing across the battlefield, a defiant roar against the inevitable. He was struck down, his body never definitively identified. With his death, the dream of a united Native American nation, strong enough to withstand the tide of colonialism, died too. The Confederacy he had so painstakingly built crumbled, its unifying force extinguished. It was a tragedy of epic proportions, a testament to the raw power of ambition and the devastating consequences of unchecked expansion. Today, Tecumseh is remembered not just as a warrior, but as a statesman, a visionary, a prophet whose warnings proved tragically true. His name echoes through history, a symbol of resistance, courage, and the enduring human desire for freedom and self-determination. He fought not for personal glory, but for the survival of his people, for the preservation of a way of life that was sacred. His legacy is a haunting reminder of what was lost, and a powerful testament to the indomitable spirit of those who fought to protect their land, their culture, and their very existence. He remains a beacon, a shining example of a man who dared to dream of a different future, a future where all nations could live with dignity and respect. His voice, though silenced by time, still whispers on the wind, a timeless plea for justice and a unified spirit.